Hey, welcome back. Today I have a guest, Chris Lee from Wayne County. We were discussing some things that we thought would be important things to create episodes for, and so far the most common thing that we seem to find that people have a complaint about or have talked to us about are common misconceptions that there are about constables, whether that's in the law enforcement world, district attorney, other government agencies, the public. So you hang tight with us and we'll be back. Watch this short intro video.
Pennsylvania State Constables, first in law enforcement since 1664.
See battle like your pride. Oh, hunter, this is how legends are born. 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 Hunter, the kill makes you stronger, nothing will. See battle like your pride. Oh, hunter, this is how legends are born. This is how legends are born.
Pennsylvania State Constables, your local elected law enforcement
Hey,
officer.
welcome back. So today we're going to talk about some common misconceptions that there are about constables. A lot of the things that get said, whether it's from the public, government agencies, police departments, DAs, attorneys, you name it. There's a lot of people that just really don't understand who or what we are. Yeah, what have you found so far, Chris? I mean, what do you think? I mean, is there a lot of misconceptions out there in the world about constables?
I've been confronted on the street that we're not law enforcement. You know, that seems to be a common statement people make.
Really?
So yeah.
I don't know if they've teach that at basic anymore. I know that it was something that was said that constables aren't law enforcement. I know one of the other things, that they teach, some of the students, they say that, we have no arrest powers or we shouldn't be doing peacekeeping work, anything outside of court work. Recently, they had said that, constables can't do 302s, but they were very quickly corrected and, they were provided information through a grievance, I believe it was, and they changed that portion of the Con Ed.
As they should. I know many constables that have 302'd people in the Commonwealth. So.
Right. So one of the things that we want to talk about today is just something that kind of recently happened to me, where I was talking with a municipality about some stuff and working some stuff out with some township supervisors, and they had reached out to their solicitor to talk about some of the legalities and whatnot of the constable and what I was proposing and stuff. So I'm just going to read to you what the statement was, and then I'm going to read to you what the law says. So hang with us here. If we're going to go ahead and look at this, the statement was said they cannot enforce the zoning ordinance or any similar ordinance. Now that's an opinion to me, because you can see under Title 40 or Title 44 Act 49 under 7158 arrests and boroughs. Number 3. Right there, it shows you black and white any ordinance of a borough for which a fine or penalty is imposed. Chris, what's that say to you?
It says that we can enforce ordinance.
Does it specifically state which ordinance?
No.
I'm pretty sure it says for which a fine or penalty is imposed.
Right.
So that to me would indicate Any ordinance.
Any ordinance with a fine imposed on it.
I don't understand. I don't understand what the comment or why that would be, the comment that was made. But, here again, you can see I have it highlighted word for word. So I just don't get it. Okay. Also, if you look down below, you'll see under Title 11, under the Pennsylvania General Assembly, where it talks about, the powers of a police officer to arrest. They're referring to municipal police officers. Police officers shall be ex-officio constables. There's that statement again, ex-officio constables. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? What's ex-officio constable mean?
It means that it's implied that they are also constables under the law.
Well, my understanding is it's a Latin term, and that refers to
Derived from
or of the office of the constable. Chris, what's one of the things that you notice pertaining to where it talks about arrests and boroughs under 7158 under the Act 49 Constables, and under Title 11 powers of police officers to arrest from the Pennsylvania General Assembly? What do you notice between the two?
That they're almost the same.
Yes, I definitely believe that it's pretty much almost word for word.
Word for word, yeah.
So my question is if when police departments are contracted with municipalities to enforce, their laws and whatnot, the contracted police department, in there it also states about how the police department is also able to enforce the ordinances of a borough. It gives them the powers to do that. Well, how are they doing that if it's word for word for us and for them, but we don't have the powers or authority to do it? Well, how do they then?
Well, that's the thing. We were enforcing ordinances first, so they're deriving their powers from our office and being
henceforth
able to do that.
the ex-officio constable.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, all right. So if you follow along, what we're trying to say is under our title, it says that we can enforce ordinances of a borough where a fine or penalty can be imposed. Under the police officers' powers and authority of General Assembly Title 11, it also says the exact same thing. All but word for word. So here again, how do they have the authority and powers but we don't? And it doesn't specify what ordinance we can enforce. As long as a fine or penalty can be imposed, it's fair game.
That's right.
Right. So now let's take a look at the next statement. The statement was made that they cannot arrest for misdemeanor or cite for summary offenses. Well, Chris, I don't know about you, but when I read Act 49, under, again, I keep referring to this, the 7158, when it talks, arrest and boroughs, line number 2. All right, it goes to talk, or in reference to the top line where it says about, in addition to any powers granted under law, a constable of a borough shall, without warrant and upon view, arrest and commit for hearing any person who, what's it say there? May
be engaged in the commission of any unlawful act tending to imperil the personal security or endanger the property of the citizens.
Now, again, I don't know what that means to you. But to me, it's telling us that we're supposed to make an arrest or a warrantless arrest, and upon view, anybody who may be engaged in the commission of any, see, there's a big word there, any unlawful act tending to imperil the personal security or endanger of the property of the citizens. I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some misdemeanors or some summary offenses that fall under that. Unless there's another term or another understanding of what an unlawful act is.
Some titles are very specific, like Title 3, dog law, states that constables must arrest for those activities that are happening in front of them, because there'll be actually a fine if the public sees the officer not engaging in that arrest or that offense. And summaries are usually the first charge with dog law, and if they repeat that offense within a year, they become misdemeanors. So,
Right. Here again, under that same topic, I keep referring to it, Title 11, the powers of police to arrest. Number 2, engaged in the commission of any unlawful act tending to imperil the personal security or endanger the property of the citizens. That is word for word the same as ours. I don't get it. Again, how do the police have that authority and power, but we don't? To my knowledge, our authority hasn't been rescinded. It's not archaic. It didn't expire.
Nope.
What's on the books now is what's on the books. Correct me if I'm wrong?
No, that's correct.
Here again, it says it word for word. Word for word. I can't help what it says. I didn't make it up. I'm just showing you the information. So, Chris, we talked about the powers and authorities and whatnot in the comparison of the the constable title and or an act or in the police title. What happens if we don't act on that duty? What happens? I mean, what do you think would happen? Do you know? I don't know.
Well, it depends. It depends on the offense.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them have charges, fines.
You know what I found?
What's that?
All right. So in research, and follow along with me here, okay? When you look under Act 49, 71, 74, when it talks about actions against security, all right? And it says the scope of this section applies to a constable subject to all of the following. A constable fails to perform the duties of office. Sounds to me like we're getting penalized for something. I'm not 100% sure exactly how that pertains to a punishment, but let me give you this example. Just think about this. Imagine, well, no, you are the elected constable for a certain municipality, right? And you're sitting at home and all of a sudden there's a very, very rapid, aggressive knock at your door. You go and answer and it's Mrs. Smith from next door, right? Mrs. Smith goes on to explain to you that her husband is being assaulted by somebody who just forced their way into the house. So you, as the constable, she knew you were the elected officer, the elected constable for the municipality. She came next door for your help. So you, going by what PCCD teaches us and what, certain police departments, and whatnot have said about us, you don't think you have any powers or authority to do anything. So what do you say? Sorry, I'm not getting involved. I don't want nothing to do with it. I can't help you. Whichever. And you close it. Maybe you call 911, right? And you help her, but you close the door. I'm not saying that you would, but hypothetically, we'll say you do. Because you were threatened to be arrested if you interacted or did anything, in that county, that was outside of court-related work, right? So you close the door and, you don't help. Well, later you come to find out, or, Mr. Smith gets taken to the hospital and he's now, very seriously injured. He's in a coma, okay? Because he was, beaten so bad from the people that broke in. Well, when it finally comes out that the neighbor, the wife was able to escape the home and come next door for help to the elected constable, right? And the constable basically closed the door and said he wasn't getting involved because of how he was taught or what he was told. Well, what do you think a prosecutor at that point, or a civil rights attorney or civil attorney is going to do to that constable because they didn't assist the neighbor? Now, mind you, this is probably going to be public news, so it's going to be on the news, and I guarantee you she's going to tell her story. So who do you think is going to get thrown under the bus? I'm pretty sure that they're going to throw us under the bus because we didn't act upon the duties that we were given. And then all of a sudden, what? Now we're going to be law enforcement, and now we're going to be it was our fault, or we should have done something.
Right.
How's the public going to perceive that? How do you think your community would perceive if you didn't act accordingly, from that? What would they do? What would they do to you?
It wouldn't be good. you would be probably held liable for that.
I guarantee you someone's coming after us for money and potentially even criminal charges.
Possible.
I know I know there ain't no DA that I know of that's going to say that, they told the elected law enforcement officer for that area to not do their duties. It's not gonna happen. You're gonna get thrown under the bus. So very simply, if we're not law enforcement, if we don't have a duty to act, if we don't have powers and authority to do certain things, how are we going to get jammed up? I know it's a hypothetical situation, but I don't think it's too far from the truth. So, Chris, one of the other things that comes up frequently that I hear from constables when they're asking questions is about the whole, borough constable, township constable. Does one have authority over the other? Is one limited to just? Because I've heard that as well.
Right.
There was a municipality that I was talking to that the police chief said that they were talking to their local constable. Believe it or not, another constable said this, and they were explaining that constables didn't have any jurisdiction or powers or authority outside of their elected area. And I'm pretty sure that's been debunked a long time ago.
Yeah, it was debunked. They also are reading that from Title 44, which is a consolidation of powers. It's not all of our powers.
Where can we find that information about where it talks about how basically a constable is a constable is a constable? Where do we find that?
There was a report in 1944, a Delaware County report, that said a constable is more than a township, borough, or ward official. His legal acts in civil cases may be performed anywhere in the county, and criminal cases anywhere in the state. The duties of the constable are threefold nature: 1, to enforce the criminal law; 2, to serve writs and other process and civil matters; and 3, to perform the statutory and court duties peculiar to his office. And also, if you look under Title 3 for dog law, it also mentions that the dog law can be imposed in any township or borough or ward as well.
So basically, that report right there states that constables have authority, whether it's in a borough or it's a township or a ward, city. It don't matter if you are an elected constable, deputized or appointed, whichever. If you're a constable in the state of Pennsylvania, you have statewide authority. Exactly. It has it right there, yep. As you can see. We pointed out to you. So, Chris, I think in closing, I think I just want to sum it up with some of these misconceptions or some of the false information that's out there. It seems to be a common problem across the state. I know that there's a lot more topics or statements that people make about constables that aren't true, pertaining to folklore. Thank you, Rich Banks, for that idea of a descriptor. Misconceptions, misunderstandings, whatever it is you want to call it. I think at some point, we're going to have to realize that no matter what we say or what we do, no matter how much proof that we put out there, there's going to be people that absolutely just disagree with us. They're not going to take the time to try and educate themselves, and it's just going to be as what it is. So, unfortunately, those people are just going to have to, deal with it or, go away. I don't want to say, what's black and white is black and white. You know what I mean? So
stay tuned for more episodes.
Yeah, we're going to be back with some more episodes pertaining to some of these common misconceptions and folklore. So if you like this channel and you like the information, listen, the only way that we're going to be able to make change is to share this video, like it, okay, and subscribe. Because as we post new videos, there's going to be different topics. We're going to have some interviews with some constables that have been through some incidents and some real life experience.
Sure.
We're going to break down and talk about some case law that's out there. So there's a lot of good things coming, a lot of useful stuff that you should know and help share. So that's the only way we're going to make change is get that information out there. So I appreciate you watching. Like I said, give us a like, share this video, subscribe, and
See you next time.
see you next time.